Bro,
I
it
am.
feels it feels cozy. It
It
feels
is. It's
good.
comfortable. I like it.
You look gorgeous today.
Thank you. You look
Doesn't
handsome.
she? She looks amazing.
You look handsome. What
I
happened to your
do.
finger?
Huh?
What happened to your finger?
What happened? I cut myself
Oh.
earlier trying to take this thing off.
Oh, the
Yeah, you don't notice it.
sign.
Anyways, what's up, everybody? Welcome back to our YouTube channel, our very, very famous, the best
Podcast.
podcast for
Yeah.
couples in YouTube, in California, in the United States. Don't get married with Keena. Help me out, baby.
I'm trying. You
What does it say?
talking. Don't get married with Keena
And
and
Cisco.
Cisco.
we
I
were,
say Keena, you say Cisco. That's
yeah,
how we should
let's
do
do
it.
that. Let's try that again. All right, here we go.
Okay.
Here we go. Here we go.
Are we doing the whole welcome back?
No.
Just
You
the
go
don't
ahead.
get married?
No, just give me a nice little intro to the title that I botched.
Welcome back. This is, I don't know what episode because it's been a minute.
That's interesting, yeah.
But it's maybe episode 9 on our podcast channel, which is Don't Get Married with Keena.
And your boy Cisco Kid. But you know, as you were saying that, I think this is season 1, episode 1. The previous episodes were like a test and trial because we're officially, as you can see, we're officially in a new space.
They were like teasers,
They're like teasers, just getting our feet wet.
short films.
Short. But now we are here. As you can see, we are in a new space. This is our new space here.
This is the new podcast room. It's going to be
Yes.
dedicated to our podcast. So we're definitely going to be doing this on a weekly, bi-weekly. Let's say bi-weekly. Bi-weekly.
We're going to try weekly. We're going to try weekly.
That's a lot, but bi-weekly, you'll be seeing us here in this room, giving you all the good stuff.
Yes. We obviously took some time off. I wish this room, we almost had it. It looks beautiful. It took me some time to, kind of set it up here, and it was supposed to look a lot nicer. Look, let me show you.
Love it. Let's see.
We were supposed to have a whole sign,
Weird.
but you don't have to turn it on, baby. It's
I know
okay.
I wasn't going to, but you're pulling on it, so I feel
Sorry.
like it's gonna break.
So we were supposed to have the title of our podcast, and unfortunately, when I turned it on, the lights weren't working. So this was supposed to be back there.
But they were working when we first got it.
when we first
so
got it, but then
I don't know.
tested
what
it
happened.
out. It got too hot.
Yeah,
But,
maybe that's what
you
it
get
is.
right?
Anyways, yeah. So this is a new space.
Yes.
And why are we in a new space? That's
man.
why we took a lot of time off.
Yes,
Because we've been on the works of doing a lot of stuff. We've been busy.
Yeah, we have been busy, and I think we took a little break, like you were saying. We took some time off because, and I think that will be the focus of this episode. Will kind of be, how would you title it? Like, what has happened since our last episode, or
Welcome back. What you missed.
what you missed. Oh, I like that. What you missed. So yes, we're obviously in this new space because, and we're I'm sorry for botching this a little bit, but we're basically gonna go over what has happened since our last episode because a lot of changes, a lot of moving parts have happened in our life, and we obviously kept creating content on the other social media platforms. So if you watch us there, you kind of know what has happened, but we went absent on our podcast and our YouTube channel because it is more a little more time consuming, but clearly we were working on it, and was a work in progress, and we're
yes.
finally here. But to start off, we are finally here because maybe you should tell them,
Well, we're in a new space because this has been something in the works for years. So I'm sure a lot of you guys already know, but we recently bought a house, and yeah, it's a crazy milestone. I didn't think this was ever gonna happen for us because we tried for many, many, many years. So yeah, we're happy to say that we are in a new space. We are blessed. We have this room dedicated to a podcast room, so that just shows that we have enough space to fulfill our needs and then some. So we are lucky that we were able to land upon this, and just grateful that we
Yeah.
have this opportunity, and now we can just reap the benefits of it.
Yeah, yeah. We're first time home buyers, obviously, like
Yes.
you were saying. And, to kind of piggyback on that, we've been trying for years since Keena first moved out to Los Angeles. We always wanted to buy our own house and be first time, be homeowners, not first time, but homeowners in general. And it took us, like she's saying, it took us forever because we just didn't qualify. We weren't educated on the process. There
Hmm.
was a lot of like bumps on the road.
Or just
And
waiting for the market. Everyone kept saying the market's going to crash, the
yeah,
market's going to crash. And here we are just like waiting for that,
yeah.
because we weren't going to be able to afford it,
No, we just
you know.
couldn't. Like back then, like in our situation, we just couldn't afford it, and that was the reality of it. So, I guess to kind of touch a little bit on that, finally this year we were fortunate enough to be able to. Be,
I
sorry, we
can't
tapped the.
read.
Come on, give me a good tap. We were fortunate enough to become, first time home buyers and homeowners and so on. So we moved out of LA. So that's another thing too. Where we were
Yes.
living in LA, for those of you guys that don't know, when I grew up in South LA, when Keena first moved with me, we lived in South LA for a few, years with my mom. And then, we always kind of stayed in the LA area. But once we kind of got into the home buying process, and we really started looking at houses and we knew how much we qualified for, and we really kind of got in the neat and greedy of it, it just didn't make sense.
It didn't. Yeah, yeah. And it was for years just trying to convince him that it didn't make sense in LA,
Well, hold on.
because I felt like for the longest time you were pushing that. And I'm just here like, bruh, like it doesn't make sense.
Hold on, though.
Like,
Hold on. Yes, okay, I get it. It didn't make sense, but you wanted to move out of state.
no.
There was a point in time you
Yes,
wanted to
there
move to
was.
like Chicago.
Of
You were saying
course,
Texas.
there was, because you were so stuck in the LA like central area. And I didn't know at that time of like the outskirts of the suburbs. I'm just thinking housing is all like this.
Right.
Crammed up, you're spending almost $1 million for like a 3-bedroom house. That's ridiculous.
Right. But
Like,
there was pushback from me because
yeah.
you kind of wanted the Texas, like she would hear about how affordable was it in Texas, or, moving back home with your family. And to me, like, this is all I know. To you, you've kind of moved around through your whole life, right? Like
Yeah.
you're more accustomed to it. To me, there was just LA, that's it. So I didn't want to leave LA, and especially now that we were making content, it was like everything is here. Don't forget, I also had jobs where I worked, in LA. So that was kind of like also a big,
So did I.
well, yeah,
Like,
but you were willing to say,
see,
forget my jobs and
well,
let
of
me,
course we can find jobs anywhere, dude. It's
well,
not hard. We're hustlers.
well, I get it, but
Anyways, yeah, there was a
anyways,
lot of pushback in regards to where location wise in terms of where we were gonna buy our first house.
yeah. So take me through that process. Once we kind of find out what was that process like? Like we know, okay, this is what you qualify. It's a realistic
This last
possibility.
this
Yeah,
this
right
time?
now,
Oh, okay, yeah,
realistic
yeah.
possibility that we could, get in a
I
home.
still didn't think it was for real. I didn't think we were gonna buy a house just because we went through that process like 3 times
Yeah,
already. So we were very
skeptical.
like unenthusiastic about it. It was just like, okay, like let's try it again because we had already done it,
Right,
before. So we were skeptical. But yeah, we qualified, and within like a month we found the house that we love that we're currently in, which is surprising. And we made an offer, our only offer,
right.
which we have before and other times that we've gotten qualified, and just it was a miss completely. So we were still skeptical
Yeah, but I think like I
when
guess to take them through the process, babe, it's like
in
we
terms of
did
what.
look in LA, right? Like we
Oh,
did
yeah, yeah. You're talking about our
through
looking
the like
process.
the
Yeah, yeah,
process. Like
yeah.
we did
So
look
yeah,
in
we were
LA.
looking in LA too because we knew obviously in a relationship it's what is it?
It's 50-50.
Compromise. It's compromise.
Yeah.
So I'm like, okay, if we find something in LA that we both agree on, then yeah, okay. But we looked, we
Well,
looked,
we looked in the
we
surrounding areas.
looked,
Like
and
we
it's
looked,
just ridiculous.
yeah, we looked in Montebello, Whittier, Pico. We went to the Valley. Anywhere like at least for me, we were trying to stay not
Locally.
in like downtown or South LA, but we were trying to stay in like I guess the outskirts of LA.
Yeah.
And then
Downey, Whittier.
Whittier, Downey, 100%. And then when we started looking into these homes, the price just didn't make sense. And it got to the point for like me, like obviously now we're looking at like, okay, well, this is going to be the mortgage. This is kind of what we're going to have to pay and so on. And it just kind of looked really unrealistic. And just considering that some of the houses in LA were like minimum $800,000. 2 bedrooms, 3 bedrooms, small
Too.
rooms, small closet. Remember the house we looked in Whittier, and they had like a swimming pool with no closet,
They had like no closets.
and we're like, Jesus, like,
Where do you put any of your stuff?
yeah, we were even like, dude, maybe if we get hit this house, we could put the closet in the garage. But I remember even telling the realtor, like, we're in Whittier, this is in Whittier. I tell the realtor that was showing us the house, I was like, Ricardo, I'm like, is this house really gonna sell for $750,000? It was
And
like
it was
two or
on a
three bedroom.
busy street too.
Busy street, right? Beautiful house, but really small. And he was like, it's gonna sell for more. And sure enough, that house ended up selling
Oh,
for
did
like.
you look at it afterwards?
Well, he ended up telling me. I think it ended up selling for like $815,000. Now, mind you, that house didn't have no closet space. We have a lot of clothes. The 2 kids. So anyway, so
Well,
we just started really exploring. Like, you know what? This probably is not gonna be. It doesn't make sense here.
Yeah, not for us.
You know.
Other people, of course. Yeah.
So then we started looking
To each its own.
a little bit outside of LA. I have a
Like
friend. Yeah, but we have a friend that kind of lives in this area.
Oh, yeah.
And they were basically.
Yeah, Dom and Foyle were really pushing. Shout out to them if you guys are watching this. They were pushing for us to move out here. It seemed like they were just like, whenever you want to come by and stay at the house and look at houses while you guys are here.
Yeah, so we're like an hour now. We're like an hour away from LA, but you know we do have like a really close friends that live out here.
Yeah.
And they were very supportive and like showing us around, telling us what areas
Yes.
are what, and
Literally,
you know,
Dom like gave me a map and just circled all the areas that were like decent areas
Yeah.
that she felt were like good for housing or whatnot. So I was like, okay, dope.
I think they really wanted us to move out here.
Yeah.
Because obviously like all our friends are in LA, and it would be
Yes.
nice to have some friends on this side of town.
Yeah.
But you know, they have kids too. So I mean it made sense. So when we start coming and looking, you know, out here, we really started like thinking like, you know what, it's like an hour away from LA. And when we get to this area, it was just to us, like this area where we're at, it was just beautiful.
Definitely. And the schooling is really good over here. So it was for me just a win. And it was like, yes.
Checklist. The only thing for me was it gets pretty hot out here. So for me,
Yeah, the compromise was the pool.
I'm like, the house has to have a pool because it does get very hot out here. And there's just, I'm not going to be stuck inside the house in the summer when it's 100 degrees. And, you know, I'm not even going to be able to
Which
go
I'm happy
outside.
about. I was like, nah, we don't need that pool. But now, like, I'm very happy that we have the pool for the kids. Like, it gets boring sometimes.
Yeah, and they have fun.
Yeah.
And, you know, we just realized, like, we get more bang for your buck here, right? Than rather than LA, like 2-3 bedrooms over there would have cost us more than we're paying here. And here, obviously, when we started looking, like, okay, well we're kind of stay-at-home parents. This is our job, content creating, to be able to get a house with more than enough rooms, obviously for ourselves, for the kids, and then also have like an office space and a podcast room. It just made more sense to say like, hey, look, this would kind of motivate us to grind a little bit more, because then now we have the room that we just dedicate to the podcast, where in our previous house, we were doing the podcast from our living room.
Yeah, we had to set everything up. When the kids go to sleep, to do anything with kids is hard as hell. So we had to wait until the kids went to sleep at night when you're tired as shit already from parenting, because parenting is hard. Set everything up, try it. Sometimes the equipment wouldn't work, sometimes it wouldn't. And we would end at like 11 o'clock sometimes.
Yeah.
11 o'clock just trying to shoot, you know, when
and
the
that
kids.
was it was so hard and discouraging sometimes to like set up the room and then, but you know, so we're.
But yes, thankfully we're here.
Yes.
Question, since you were like hesitant to move to the suburbs, how do you like it?
I'm honestly loving it.
Yeah?
I'm loving it here. Like
I love to hear
I
that.
love it. I don't know if like I would have loved it back then, but like right now
With the kids.
I don't know if it's the area that we're in, like meaning like the community that we're in, or I don't know, the county that we're in. I don't know if the whole county is like this, but here where we're at in this particular county, in this particular area, it's just really peaceful, right? Like there's a few things that to me, I really love about this area. We have kids, so obviously they come first, right? To some degree, like
No.
obviously wifey, but they're like right neck and neck. And
Yeah.
to me, like being able to be like comfortable where like it feels very safe, right? Like it's safe. Like I never feel unsafe here, right? Like it just they could be outside and good, right? That's one. Two is I grew up in a community where like my friends, we grew up together in the street,
In the neighborhood, yeah.
in the neighborhood. We came out to play.
Same.
We ran up and down the street playing tag. Like the whole street was our playground. I grew up that way. And as I started getting older, I never really got that anymore. Like
And wherever we moved, I feel like that's lost. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe some parts of LA are like that, but we've moved. We've been in South Central,
We've been
Huntington
4 different places.
Park. We've been near downtown. Where else?
Like more on like towards like the Compton area.
Yeah.
So I don't know if it's because it was the ghetto, but
It's all
I lived in the ghetto, and it would my childhood friends are still my friends right now.
Yeah.
Like they're still my friends, and so I grew up that way. And what I do like about it here,
It's very much like that.
it's like that. Like in my like here, they brought us cookies. I thought that was only a TV thing.
Yeah.
Now get it. Like we're not in a rich neighborhood. We don't have $1 million home. Take that out your mind. We're not. But the neighbors bring us cookies. The neighbors came to visit us.
Literally the day that we were moving in.
Yeah.
There was the neighbors that were just coming from church. They came to say hi and welcome us.
Yeah.
The neighbor right next door gave us cookies. Shar and Jen came by like a couple days later.
Yeah.
Which I'm going to see them this weekend. We're having a barbecue at my neighbor's house.
No, the Char and them, they thought I was, the Mexican stealing from the box.
That is true.
So one thing about here is that the mailmen don't leave your mail in front of your door. Like there's a community box. It's not a closed community either. So take that out your head. You know what I mean? Like what are those called?
Gated community?
It's not like that. But I was opening the mailbox, and these particular neighbors that we're talking about, I couldn't figure out the damn box, the key. Like
you were opening the wrong one. That's why.
No, I didn't have the key.
No, you were opening up this one.
No, I was opening our actual mailbox, but remember they only gave us the codes to the house.
Yeah, they
didn't really leave us keys because remember we changed it.
But anyways, so those neighbors.
Yes, let me not get
in terms of like the close knit community, and everyone knows everyone. We're really good friends with them. Going to see them this weekend. I just saw them that their kids go to the same school ours do.
Yeah.
So it's very much like that. We know most of the neighbors and the kids in the neighborhood.
There's a lot of kids here,
so we do enjoy that.
Yeah,
it's very much
100%
brought back to our roots of our childhood, because mine is the same, where we just all played in the street riding bikes up and down. So we love that. So I'm glad to hear that your mind has changed and you love it now.
Well, it's kind of nice. I mean, it's kind of nice that the kids are able to go outside and like play in the street. The kids come and knock on our door. Hey, can we play? Like that is pretty neat to kind of see, because there were times in like our old neighborhood where like our kids are inside and we're like, damn, like our kids are only gonna have friends that are in school. Like your neighbors in these places that we lived, they wouldn't even say hi to us. Like it was like everyone kind of just lives in their own world. The whole community is just lost. The relationships of a neighbor going and asking for sugar, that's lost. And here it kind of seems like, we kind of watch each other's backs. Everybody's really nice. Everybody kind of knows each other. I'm part of the Facebook community group page where like they post everything.
He's that Facebook dad now.
I'm a Facebook dad. There's a Facebook page that is just for this community, and they put like, hey, I'm looking for a gardener,
a plumber, or
whatever the case
or
is.
What's the issue with this?
Yeah, so that's pretty cool.
That's been one of the big things that's happened in our lives is the move. It was the end of February. Yeah. Daughter's birthday.
So yeah,
happened right after that.
February, yeah.
My birthday.
Right. And then
just shutting up this house and just having people here. We had a lot. And then after, there was a big thing that happened in our life. I don't know if you want to touch base in regards to that. That's kind of thrown a rock in our life.
Right. I guess through April, because it was in April, we
got bad news.
We got bad news that, my best friend that was battling colon cancer, Mike, you guys probably have heard of him. He was battling colon cancer for about almost 5 years. and he was going through, obviously chemotherapy. It got to the point that he was going through, trials, like chemo trials and stuff like that, just kind of like trying everything that's available to him out there. And he did this for 4 years, and in April, he told us that it was sometime in April that
It was my birthday.
your birthday, yeah. So
Mm-hmm.
your birthday, he tells us that um,
Take your time.
uh, okay. So he tells us that there's just the chemo had transferred to the cancer had gone to his brain. He was having like vision problems, headaches, and stuff like that. So they did a scan in his head and they found out that the cancer had gone to his brain, and that at that point they were just going to stop everything,
Yeah.
all the chemo trials, because it was just like there's just nothing that they could do at that point. So this is like early in April, and you know
They said about 6 months.
6 months. Yeah,
Six
he
months.
asked the
That
doctor
yeah.
like how long, right? What was it like? What the
Well, yeah, because
doctor?
they stopped all the treatment because the treatment was obviously for his cancer in the
Yeah,
colon or whatnot. So they didn't have actual treatment for the cancer in the brain, and it gotten too bad for them to do anything about it, anyways. So they stopped everything, which obviously means the cancer is going to spread. So he asked him how long until obviously the end. They gave him 6 months.
yeah,
This was April. He passed away May 3rd.
yeah. So it really just took
It
three
was really
weeks,
fast.
like
Yeah.
3 weeks, right? Like from the day that he told us, and I mean we're in shock, right? Because we're thinking like, well, he's been doing this for 4 years and he's gotten bad news before, but then there's always, something or whatnot that comes up, and there's
He's
hope.
he
And this
was
time,
super strong,
yeah,
super strong.
and yeah, so I think at this point now they tell us 6 months, so we're thinking, okay, well, we have 6 months, but like we were saying, like everything as the weeks were happening, like you could
Just
just
slowly deteriorate. Not well, fast actually, not
like
slowly.
slow but fast. Like it's just cancer is such. I've never experienced like knowing someone that died from cancer. I think you have.
Hmm.
I've never, and so I really didn't know what to expect. But like as the weeks were going, and we're talking about 3 weeks,
Every time we see him,
every time we would see him, it was just like he was just a different person. Like meaning he was getting
his
skinnier, and
appearance,
he was
his
one day,
behavior,
yeah, his behavior, what else, maybe, like it's very traumatizing, because when it got to the end where we're now in May, um that you could just tell he's struggling to like talk, he's struggling to kind of breathe, but he's still breathing and talking. And I was able to go and have like a last kind of like a last it was, I see it as my last conversation with him, because it was a day that I went down there to visit him, and he was able to talk clearly like this, and we were able to speak, and we were able to reminisce. um so that's Thursday, and then anyways, we have our day where we just put everything on the table, and we're just kind of coming to terms that it's gonna happen. And uh, by the next week, one of my friends is there, and he just basically tells me like, "Hey, you gotta come." Like, Mike's not looking good, and I'm just like, "Dude, I was just there on Friday. Like, this is a couple days later." So, anyways, something tells me to go, and I went to his house, and by this point, he's not talking. This is like within 4 days. He wasn't able to talk. He was gasping. A lot of our friends are there and his family's there. And when I left that day, I just kind of knew that he wasn't gonna, like, I don't know. I just knew that he wasn't gonna make it through the night. And so, yeah, so basically, sure enough, Kina wakes up in the morning that day.
I'm supposed
This
to
is
head to their house.
because it was her birthday.
His best friend's wife is now my best friend. It was forced upon us because you guys were just such good friends. So she's now my best friend, and it was her birthday that day. So I was heading out to see her and celebrate the day with her. And I was like, oh, I'll just go see Mike that day. Unfortunately, that day happened, and he passed away in the night at like 1. So we lost him that night after you had left, because you left at like 10 or 11. So shortly after. So yeah, that was May 3rd.
4th, isn't it? Isn't it her birthday May 4th?
May 3rd.
May 3rd.
Yeah.
Yeah, so.
So it's been rough.
Yeah.
How would you say that your grief is like right now? Like,
Damn, you're really getting in there today, huh? Like, Jesus.
grief is hard.
You're
Like, I've experienced it because my grandfather, who was like, was my dad. I feel like he was very much my father, passed away from cancer, lung cancer to be exact. So I knew how it was, and I told you how it was going to be, and it's hard. It's not something you get over.
Yeah.
It just kind of sits there. So how would you feel like you're doing now, since it's been like 3 months?
It's probably, I don't even know how to describe it. It's something I've never gone through before. Like, I lost my grandma a year or so ago, and I can even tell you this is my grandma, and I don't feel nowhere as near how I currently feel. Like, I am struggling, you know? And I think you see it, because it's like I tell you so much, you know, like I kind of like, damn, dude, this was supposed to be like shit. But like, I think you see it, because it's like I tell you how I feel. Like, I'm very open with you, and I told you many times, like, I'm tired of feeling this way. I'm tired of like feeling weird, not myself. And it's like, to give you some context, like, I met this guy when I was 3 years old. He lived next to me. You know, we grew up together, went to the same schools. He was, you know, a brother to me, my best man. I was his best man at his wedding, you know. We spent Christmas together.
Your guys' wives were best friends,
My
so we
wife,
did everything together.
did
He was our
everything
child's
together.
uncle. Like,
Yeah.
he loved Azel. Azel loved the shit out of him. Like,
So
it's very hard for
it's
sure.
it's a big impact, a big loss for me and our family and ourselves, and it's just, I I probably should get therapy to get like more like help, because it's like I'm really struggling, you know, like, I don't, if it's depression, if it's grief, like, I fucking cry randomly. I went to a dinner with my manager, and it's supposed to be a good, like, I just started crying, and it's like,
Well, that's because you're holding it all in. You're trying to be strong. But
yeah,
that's the thing. Like, with grief, you do need to feel. You need to feel, and you
yeah,
do need to talk about it, because the more you talk about it, I think the more it's easier to talk about.
right.
Right? So
It's
So
just,
that's a
it's just been
suggestion
hard.
I would
It's
tell
just
you.
been, to be honest with you guys see the videos, but it's like, it's been the hardest thing I've ever gone through. I can't shake it off. I don't know how to shake it off. Like, the
You're not
best thing I
going
could
to,
do,
though, baby.
yeah.
You're not going to.
Wow, like, I don't want to forget him, right? Like, I don't want to forget him. I'm just like tired of feeling this way. That's it. Like
That's valid.
it's like a fuck, like
Like a stain
a
that you can't get
stain.
out
Yeah,
of.
yeah.
Yeah.
It's like it's, I don't know. It's very hard to explain. It's like, you're obviously missing someone that you don't wish you were missing, but it's like, uh, there's sometimes I'm unmotivated. I'm angry. I'm sad. It's the stages of grief, I guess, you know.
Yeah.
And it's so. But we miss you, Mike. And so anyway, so
Definitely
not
do.
to just kind of cut it, but I just think like,
Yeah.
you know, but so we went through that. So we went through a big loss all through April, and he passed away in March, and we buried him at the
No,
end.
we found the news
May.
out in April.
April. I got
Passed away in May. Buried him at the end of May. So
Yeah.
it took like 3 weeks to bury him. So all through that process, I feel like we're just kind of waiting around to start. Like, we're obviously grieving, but we're just waiting, right?
Yeah.
To kind of put him to rest. And after that, I feel like your grief will really start, right? So we're still grieving, because it's only
Yeah.
been a couple months, and this was a huge loss. It's not like someone we didn't know. We saw him on a weekly basis, you know,
Yeah.
especially towards the end. It was hard. So yeah, so that's been a big thing in our life right now that
It's
we've
like
gone
froze
through.
us.
Yeah, it's kind of paused us. It's kind of, we're at a standstill. We're trying to get a routine. Azel started school, so that's obviously a big thing too that we went through, and it
Yeah.
sucks.
But it was necessary.
It was, yes, definitely, but it's just hard to get in a routine in life, period. And then we're just struggling with a lot right now in our life, but we are still very blessed, thankfully, just to be here and be, able to provide for our kids.
Yeah.
Mike would still want us to be grinding and out like he's always has. He was always freaking very motivational towards us and what we're doing. So yeah, this is for Mike. Again, let me go back to Azel starting school because that's a big thing in our parenthood. I feel like that's a huge milestone.
It is a
He
big
started like a
milestone.
summer program in July. It's been about a month and a half. It's only been a couple days a week for a couple hours.
3 days. 4 hours.
That was a big moment for me. Like my baby, he's never been in school, like, or any type of like
Yeah.
setting like that. So I was like, oh shit, how is my baby gonna do? Because he's kind of wild at home. But he's been doing so well.
So
like he really has.
What made you put him in school?
Oh, we need our time.
Okay. Let
We
me
need
ask the
our own
question. Like,
okay.
we work from home. We're
Yeah.
obviously able to stay here and watch both of our kids, right? Like, that might sound bad, but there's obviously something behind it. But like, what made you at this point now, like, say, like, okay, well, he has to go to school or this learning center that he's in or whatever it's called.
Okay, let me start with him first and then I'll say why for me. So for him, because he's never been in that school setting, so I didn't want to just throw him in
Right.
full time at school because it would be a huge transition for him because he's always been at home. So I was like, let's start slow, get him on this little learning program, just a couple days a week because I know I wouldn't be able to handle full time right away with him gone. So a couple days a week. We obviously have another child too. So when you have two kids, it's a huge transition because all that attention that was on the first kid, is now split between two kids. So all the curriculum that I would be teaching him, because I always did activities and
You were really good.
educational and like all that stuff because I really wanted him to just be ahead, right?
Right.
I barely ever did it anymore. And I felt bad, like as a parent, like he's going to be behind. Because I no longer did that with Azel because I had Zaya.
Gotcha. Okay.
Right?
Yeah,
So
right.
I'm like, okay, let's start putting him in, a learning center or whatnot so that he can get ahead in regards to that because I was lacking in that now after the second child. So, and for me, after we had the second child, I had no time in the first place. Now we have zero time. Like we do still work from home. This is our work. We had no time to do this.
No.
Like, not at all.
Yeah.
We had no time for the gym, no time for anything for ourselves, right? Or to work. Like, I was always in between, like, little time that we could get. So I was losing my shit mentally. So it gives us a little, time for ourselves and to work, without feeling pressured by the kids because they're right there. Because a lot of times that's what we were doing was just when the kids were awake. And it's hard to do anything with kids, let alone work. So those are the two reasons why I feel.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it does make sense. I mean, I think like we just needed that time, and ultimately, I guess he just needed to socialize, right? Like I think at the end of the day, like we wanted to put him
I forgot
out of
to
the
mention
house.
He wanted to be with kids.
He loves
all
being
the
near
time. He's a
kids.
social butterfly.
Yeah, like his dad.
Yeah,
As
for
you
sure.
could tell. So he just needed it. Like we just felt bad. Like there was days like we're not trying to say that we were here and we were ignoring him, but like we can't give him the full attention because we have a daughter and different age gaps, so they can't do the same things. Like Azel likes to do Legos. We can't do that with Zaya
Because she
because
puts
they're
everything
too
in her mouth.
small. So it's not that we just let them be on the TV or anything. Like, no, of course not. I mean, we still kind of tried, but ultimately, like, we just kind of got to a point where we're like, okay, I think he's ready. He's never been, out of the house, and every time he is with kids or with other people, he's so amazing, right? Like
He really
socializing,
is.
playing. Like
He's a lot. He's like a different kid when he's in
yes.
public.
So we just felt like it was just also time for him to like
Yeah.
socialize and start learning how to be around other kids and give us a little bit more flexibility to fucking pay this house. Like we need to
Yes.
obviously do this and other things and other ventures for us to be able to keep this house, pay the bills, and
Clean
so
this
on. Clean
house.
this house,
Cook.
cook, so we could
X's and O's.
get in a routine. So how do
Yes.
you think it's going?
I mean, we're slowly getting there. We're getting to a routine.
Yeah, I
I feel
think it's
like we're
great.
still trying to put puzzle pieces together, but we're slowly getting there.
And it's only three
So,
days. She
yeah.
cried, like
Oh, of
literally,
course I did. So did
dude.
you. So did you.
I
Don't
think
act like you
I
didn't.
got it.
Don't act like you didn't.
No, but this girl got, man, that day that he was going to school.
I wasn't as bad as I thought I was,
Well,
honestly. I
no,
cried a
but
little bit. Not
this
like I
girl,
thought I was gonna be hysterical. I really did.
I think you were more in shock, and everything was like, I think because we went on the trip that weekend, we were like in the
Yeah, I
mountains,
wasn't
so you
able
weren't
to,
fully thinking of it.
mentally prepare myself
Right.
for it. Yeah.
I think if you were like here that weekend, you
I
would
would
have
have been
been
crying. Yeah.
you would have been thinking about it more. And like
I
we
would have
got
been
here
crying.
Sunday, he went to school Monday, and but this girl wakes up in the morning,
Oh yeah, I
does
did.
of fucking pancakes, happy face pancakes, of special pancakes that I've never seen in my life. She was just like, I'm doing. She went a little extra. It's not extra like that, but obviously like
Well, it's his first
it
day.
was. She makes regular pancakes all the time. This time they were colorful.
Yeah, they were sprinkled birthday cake pancakes with a smiley face, and I got him a new backpack and I set it up because I knew he was going to be excited. And that's pretty much it. I just got him pancakes, but I woke up a little earlier for that and gave him a cute little outfit.
Yeah,
And,
he did really great.
He
Like
did.
he did. For
He's
you,
like,
if you're
bye,
wondering.
guys. Love you. Like, there was no
Yeah.
pushback on it
Yeah,
when
we
we
thought
dropped
maybe
him off.
my mom said I cried like my ass off, but I was a crybaby. My mom says, but we thought like, okay, well, he's never been out. We don't know how he's gonna react, and he didn't cry whatsoever. So
He was
that's kind of
great.
like the latest. We just kind of like that gave you guys like the gist, and that's kind of what's been going on, in our life. And I think you're doing an amazing job, like always, with our
Thank
kids.
you.
You are amazing. You've been amazing to me through this grieving process because I know my friend was you know, a big part of your life too, right? You've known him since as long as he
Since I
was
was
the
18.
first people you met,
Literally.
right? When you first got here, and obviously it hurt you when you lost him, and I think you've been a little bit stronger from that aspect, supporting me throughout this process, and you're able to like control your emotions, I guess. So it's like you just kind of been really, amazing. And I think
Thank
like
you.
this year was supposed to be the happiest year, right? Like our daughter's turning one, like we just got a house, we're in a new community. Everything is just kind of going right for us finally, and obviously we had a loss, and so it's a very weird year, but we are here, and I thank you for that. We're here now, and now that we are finally getting the ball rolling, we are going through it. So obviously, like have some sympathy for us if we miss a week or whatnot. But I think now we just really want to get this rolling and give you guys our podcast like we always wanted to, like give you guys a good listening show, or just for you guys to get to know us in a
Yeah.
personal side and stuff like that. I feel like you guys kind of like saw us grow, saw
Yeah.
our children grow. Like we
Definitely.
started when she was pregnant with our first kid, and here we are now. So,
Almost 4 years later.
yeah, four
It's
years later,
crazy.
like we are so thankful for you guys, and you know, um, we're trying to make this as short as possible. So we are kind of getting to the point of reeling this podcast in, and
That's it, I think.
I
There's
think
anything
that's
else
it.
you want to touch base on that you feel like is
N-
a milestone in your life that you've experienced aside from that you've already touched base on?
No, I
No?
just, I think like I'm proud of us, right? Like because we are very like resilient. We are very, I think we are both amazing parents. I think we're doing a great job on that, you know, on that part of our life. We are here building our life in a new community that, we love, and we're thankful for you guys because you guys are the reason why we are here. So thank you guys for tuning in to
Season 1, episode 1.
Yes, thank you guys. Now, if you have final words, we want to get into answering questions, relationship questions, and give you guys our feedback. You know, we've been together for 13 years. We did a long distance relationship. We are what are we called, like relationship, the different cultures, we are biracial.
Biracial.
We're a biracial couple, so I know there's a lot of you guys out there. You know, we are a biracial couple, so you know we've been through it. We understand that we're coming from different cultures, and we made it work, and we're still trying to make it work. We're parents, so we want to answer your guys' questions. So
Rambling off the walls.
Yes, so if you have any questions, please send them our way. Don't forget to like this video, subscribe. Maybe you could leave the questions if you don't want to be anonymous. You could leave the questions in this video. Again,
you guys can shoot us a message as well.
Yes.
Or shoot the comments over, like,
email us,
subscribe.
the whole nine. One last rest in peace to my best friend Mike. He was uncle to our kids, so that's your compadre. Can we name him that? But anyways,
I called him Uncle Mike. Okay,
Uncle Mike,
he was
man.
Uncle Mike to me too, because that's what I called him for Hazel. Hazel copies us. But R.I.P. to Mike.
Go get checked if you have any issues in your bowel movements and so on. This is a great opportunity for me to say, go get checked.
That's it. That's been us. Thank you for staying tuned to what's been happening to us. And the next episode, hopefully, we'll have, more content or questions, and it'll be a little bit more exciting. But thank you guys if you guys stayed for the whole video. We do appreciate you. And I love you guys all. Bye. This is Don't Get Married
with
Kina
and your boy Cisco. See you guys next week, baby. Take care.
Bye, you guys.